Hello and welcome to a very special edition of ITK Crypto with me, your host, Cryptosi. And today I am joined by a very exciting project, and the project is called Alias. Now, I'm not going to do too much talking about what the project is. I've got three great guests I'm delighted to have on. First of all, I'm going to introduce the lead developer, or one of the developers. I'm not sure. I'll let him actually say his position. A man by the name of Helix. Helix, how are you, sir?
Yeah, hello and welcome at all. So let me introduce myself. Yeah, my name is Yves Schumann. I live in Switzerland, and here on the Discord it's the nickname Helix, which is a very strange abbreviation. I can't even remember myself. But I'm a software developer in the area of public transportation, and the focus on my day job is version control, continuous integration, and continuous delivery. So everything around automation of software development, from code to rollout to the customers. And I came to the project in 2018 by accident. And I was sitting in a train together with Philip, which is here on Discord called Tech, and he's the lead developer on the project. Right. And just we talked about this and that, and then he told me about the project, and there's the need to streamline and to automate a lot of things. And that's why I'm here.
Awesome. Well, before you tell us what the project is, let's keep that somewhat a secret. The thumbnail may give it away, but let's not say about it yet. Yeah. Chad Rhubarbarian, I'll move on to you. Rhubarbarian, somebody who I've known for quite a while. We have worked together before. But Chad, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you managed to find yourself in Alias and what you've done before. So.
Yeah, sure. And yeah, we've known each other for a while. It's been a fun gig. Probably like going on 5 years now. Is that
yes?
Right?
Yeah.
So I'm it's been too long? No, it seems like forever. I'm a designer, so graphic designer, brand expert, I guess, and been doing that for about 16 years with a company called Rhubarb Media. And about 5 years ago, I was recruited to join a project to help rename, rebrand. And that was my first actual step into crypto and blockchain. And that was taking Darknet into Pivx. So I was part of the Pivx crew for 3+ years and had a great time branding them. Obviously, 2017 was an awesome year for a lot of projects. And Pivx did well. And then because of what I was doing in the blockchain space, I started getting approached by a lot of other new projects, crypto, blockchain, apps and whatnot. And after finishing up with the major work with Pivx, I was approached by the founder of SpectraCoin, and they were looking for someone to rename, rebrand, and start a marketing run for this not new, I've been around for about 4 years, privacy coin. And so that's where I stepped in and been hanging out with Helix and Tittorelli and a whole bunch of other guys and gals. It's been a great ride.
Awesome. And that brings us on nicely to last but not least, Tittorelli. Tittorelli, how are you, sir?
Good, man. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. So could you tell us a little bit about yourself? And I guess we could start. No, actually, I'll tell you what. Tell us how you got into Alias and what were you doing before crypto?
Okay. So my name's Tittorelli, aka Jason Dixon. I'm an artist and educator. And I came onto the crypto scene back in early 2017 when I had a friend who got rich investing in Ethereum for $15. So greed initially drew me to the crypto sphere. And then I started looking in, exploring blockchain and things like that, and looking into coins that I thought had a lot of potential. And that got me into Alias, or SpectraCoin, as it was formerly called. And I got into the community, started making memes, became a bit of a meme master. Then I became a team player. Then I became a community leader, and now I'm a bit of a spokesman, spreading the privacy gospel.
Yeah. Yes.
So
okay. So I'll tell you what. Seeing as you're here, could you tell us what exactly is Alias, and what is it built to do? Tittorelli.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. So Alias is a privacy coin, and what that is basically means is it's a currency designed to offer you financial freedom. We live in a world where so much of our transactions are monitored by corporations or governments, and that can kind of impede the way we live our lives. So I think Alias is a currency that strives on and offering people a resource to express themselves financially. So I kind of see a connection between, I'm really into art and kind of creativity and freedom in a creative sense. I kind of see a connection between being able to connect into privacy and expression, just as a mode of expression, because I think at its root, privacy isn't some, dark, dank cellar where you can do whatever you want. Privacy is a space that gives you the opportunity to express yourself fully without the, I guess, shackles of the other or whatever that may be.
Yeah. I'm just going to bring Helix back in, because what I really wanted to ask him was about the genesis, if you will, or the start of Alias, or Spectre Coin as it was known then. So how was Alias actually initially funded? Was it started by an ICO, or did it have like a retro start? How did Alias start, Helix?
Yeah, that's a good question, because actually there's nobody in the project left who was on the ICO. But yes, there was an ICO back in 2016. And as far as I know, it was more or less terrible, because the project earned only around, I think, £17,000. So for that time, I think that was not that much, because there were projects which gain way more money. But I'm not really sure. That was 2016, and I joined the project 2 years later. So I can only tell what I seen on the code base and heard from others.
So I will move this on to Chad, so that we've had a full sweep and everyone's got a chance to speak before we delve into the tech a little bit more. But Chad, so currently you and I worked together on PivX for some years, and it had a masternode funding system. So currently with Alias, what is the current method of funding? Who makes sure the devs are paid? How does that work?
It is a community-funded project. There is a mechanism in the wallet, in the network, that generates a stake. 1 in 6 stake goes to the community development budget. I always get this wrong. CDB, BCD. Anyways, so there's a monthly generation of coins that are contributed. So everyone who stakes will receive 5, or there could be an orphan in there, but the 6th stake is a contributing stake, and it goes towards the project. And it's minimal with the price that it is, but it does help pay for little things and stipends, and helps fund some exchanges. But that's plus just community funding, like just crowdsourcing, people donating, very generous whales and dolphins and tunas and whatever. And so that's where we're at. And so we're pretty much modeled similar to like a Monero or other, where it's a community funded project. There is no masternodes. We basically vote as a collective kind of core team, what seems right, what seems best. Let's go for it, and the community trusts us.
And how are you finding that shift in dynamic from I guess having to hand over pretty much all the power to the communities, to making decisions in a more streamlined, team-focused way? How are you finding that shift? Is it working out better for you? Do you miss the old way? Does it have its pros and its cons?
I think I prefer community funding model. I think there's other models that we'd like to see happen, and it could be like a crowdfunding, like submit a proposal and get it crowdfunded. But there is still just a few of us that are being trusted to make decisions on behalf of the project. So it's not a, hey, everyone, we want to, do this thing, vote. There's no like collective all community vote. It's within kind of we put it out there, like, for instance, a few of the latest exchange listings were community funded, and we just said, hey, we've been approached by StakeCube, and we have this opportunity. If you guys want to vote and win the contest, we'll be listed. And so they voted with their coins. And similarly with another project that's coming up with Polarity, same thing. It was a donation based crowdfund. We came to them with an idea. We said, we're going to do this, but we need some help, and people just supported it. So they voted with their investment.
Yeah, they vote with their wallets. That's great.
Mm-hmm.
You spoke there about it being proof of stake, which is I
Mm-hmm.
find very interesting. There's a lot of talk about the movement over to proof of stake for environmental reasons, but I really did want to bring Helix in and not only speak about the proof of stake, but primarily speak about the privacy, because as I understand it, Alias is a privacy coin, and that's the focus of Alias. What type of privacy does Alias currently use?
What type of privacy? Good question.
Yeah,
I think the whole project is a useful mixture of different measures. Like, I think the most obvious one is we have a native integrated Tor setup, so you don't need to install Tor separately or another tool to hide your traffic. Tor is native integrated, and so every Alias node run as a hidden service by default. So that's just out of the box working this way. And the next big puzzle tile is the proof of stake cryptocurrency network. It's a proof of stake version 3 network which uses the ring signatures and other stealth technologies. And on top of all this, our developer tech implemented the proof of anonymous stake algorithm. So it's from what happens is more or less the same. You take your coins or your amount of coins and let it stake. But we contain, or we handle, two types of coin. So Alias is a dual coin system. So we have a public coin and a private coin. And if you stake the private coin, you get at first a higher reward. If you stake public coin, you get 2 coins as a stake reward, and if you stake the private coin, you get 3 rewards.
Okay.
So this is to bring more people in to use the real private coin.
Yep.
And also, it's not trackable where the coins flow through the network.
Awesome.
So that's the anonymous part.
Awesome. What I will say is, just to explain to people who may not be so up to date with privacy, correct me if I'm wrong, but as I understand it, the more people that are staking privately, it increases the privacy set, and therefore gives the actual privacy more strength. So the reason why, I guess, or I'm asking, is the reason why you've chosen to give people an additional incentive to stake privately, so that you could produce actual stronger privacy, and then when people do use the private coin, there's a bigger set that they're using it from. Is that about right?
That's right. Yes.
Awesome.
But please don't ask me about technical details. Then we need tech.
Okay.
But that's definitely the case, because the question is sometimes coming up on our Discord channels, and the question is why? Why should we use the private stake? But
yes,
it's definitely the case that you improve the privacy as such.
Yes, because I remember hearing somebody, I forget the guy's name, Corey something or other from Tor, actually saying that it's important that people use Tor even if they don't want to do something private, because the more people use Tor, the stronger Tor becomes, and the more traffic you're being hidden amongst. So I guess a similar thing works there. I was going to move on, and no, before I do, I've spoken to Chad a few weeks ago. Sorry, to Rhubarbarian a few weeks ago, and we was mulling over whether or not Alias is currently the only private proof of stake coin there is on the market today. Now, I'm not sure if Chad, I'm not sure if you found out if that was the case or not. But as far as I guess I'm opening this to any of you, do any of you know of any other privacy coins that allow you to stake in a private manner? Because I personally don't.
I don't.
No, I think Alias is the only private proof of stake coin.
Yeah,
that offers private staking.
Yeah, and the one addition we can make, we're definitely the only coin where you can privately stake on your mobile device.
Yeah.
That's
right. Okay.
true.
That's huge.
I may have to push you for some technical details there because that does sound good. How is it possible you can stake on your mobile device? Would you have to be connected to the internet at all times? You have to download the full blockchain to your mobile device? How does that actually work? Private staking?
Yeah, in fact, that's the only two drawbacks. You need to download the full blockchain, and you need to be connected to the net all the time, of course.
Right.
Okay. But we set up the mobile app for Android in a way that it downloads the Bootstrap chain at first. So you can, just for setup, take a better network connection, like some internet coffee, whatever, make the setup to download the chain. And after that, it's a proof of stake. It's not proof of work. So it's energy efficient and it's working on a mobile phone.
And then beyond, I was just going to say beyond that, it's not only the the only private proof of stake mobile wallet. It's also, I believe, the only proof of stake just in general full node mobile wallet. So that's important if you're into a trustless setup. You're not relying on outside resources to operate your wallet.
It's certainly the first one I've heard of, to be honest with you, just as you said that, because I hadn't done my research. I hadn't found that you had a full node mobile wallet. So when you said that, I was worried you may say it was like some kind of delegated staking, but what you're saying is that you can actually produce blocks via your mobile, which I'm quite sure I've not known any other project to allow you to do that. So that's a pretty big deal. That is a pretty big deal, actually. Is that a new feature, or has that been around for a while with Alias?
Yeah,
Helix?
It depends what you say. What is for a while? It was released Christmas last year.
Christmas 2020. So only a few.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd still call that new. That's still fresh. So I'm going to forgive my not knowing about it. So that's fine. I feel better now. Okay. With that, actually, Helix, I'll keep you here. What features do you plan not to add to Alias in the future? Is there anything else you've got planned?
Oh, planned is a lot. But I think as we are really go to the community idea, we need to evaluate what the goals should be or which way we want to go. But on the roadmap are such things like Trezor or Ledger integration, so that the Alias can be handled using the hardware wallets. Or cold staking light wallet is also a issue or a topic. Fortunately, some time ago, a guy on the community on our Discord came up and he's working on a light wallet. And some weeks ago, there was the first pre-alpha version to check out, but it looks promising. So we'll keep up the work.
I think I remember loosely that you guys were based on CryptoNote. Does that make it harder to build a light wallet than your regular Bitcoin based, like PivX? Building a light wallet on PivX was pretty easy. You could just fork Electron. Is it a lot more difficult because of the technology within Alias to build a light wallet or not?
I can't answer this. I'm not in that details that much, so sorry.
Okay. I wanted to move on to speak more about privacy in general. I guess I'll bring Tittorelli back. No, actually, I'm going to ask you this one, Rhubarb. It was once argued that with Dash that they should stop pursuing their current cutting edge privacy, which it was at the time, which was CoinJoin. Like, I guess you guys would laugh at tech now, but they were worried about being ostracized by the regulated entities such as exchanges. Now, there has been delisting of privacy projects in our recent past, as recent as last year. How does Alias feel about giving up on privacy? Is it something that you guys would consider if, say, I don't know, a big exchange like a Binance or someone like that said, yeah, you can come on providing you get rid of the privacy, is it something that you guys would consider, or is it your main thing and something that you would keep?
Oh, it will be kept. I think there's like the history of privacy. It kind of went through kind of a windy road, the Silk Road. Everyone thinks of the privacy and secrets and drugs and guns, but the last I would say when Pivx launched and other privacy coins started to really blow up, the conversation around privacy has really changed. Like the narrative has changed. And I remember a phrase, it was in an article, just a random article, and they used the term user data protection. And it really kind of turned the corner for a lot of projects to see like it's not a pure just privacy, mind your own business, let me do what I want. It's the fact that the whole world is heightened to the issue of interference, surveillance, using your property, your intellectual property for the gain of others at your loss sometimes, and all this, and fraud, and this is now heightened it so that corporations are starting to not only accept the idea of a privacy currency, but they're like, oh yeah, we've been doing user data protection for years. We didn't call it privacy. So I think it's changing a lot where it's like, oh, the whole new economy needs to be about protecting your data, and Facebook and all this crap that's happened with Google, and it gets everyone's thinking like, oh my goodness, this isn't about hiding and being secretive. This is about my right to protect my IP. And maybe like we're seeing in Australia and other countries, they're like, you need to pay for my data. I don't just need to be able to hide it or you can't see it, but I'm willing to give you some of it, but you need to pay for it. So I would be full blown ahead, and if a exchange said, sorry, public or not, I think Alias would just be like, screw you. we're gonna carry on and find other amazing, decentralized exchanges, or keep on the peer-to-peer network. But there's exchanges that are coming up that they kind of specialize in catering to privacy coins. Polarity is one of them.
Okay.
So there's a movement towards the changing narrative of privacy, and Alias is on it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
go ahead.
I think the privacy is the main goal of the project.
Mm-hmm.
So to wipe out privacy that's not an option. There are other coins which work not privately or not on privacy. So our main goal is the user's privacy. So, and if an exchange say no without privacy, then okay, we take another one.
Okay.
And,
go ahead.
To say what's cool is Alias 2 is that dual coin system. So I mean, you as a user have the choice to operate completely private or be public with your transactions. So there's no reason an exchange couldn't just use the public version of Alias.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a huge advantage.
Yeah. So it's not all or nothing in Alias's case. You can kind of have your cake and eat it too, but privacy is of course the main focus of the coin.
So just to play devil's advocate, I'll keep you here, Tittorelli, just to play devil's advocate. And I'm surprised that this hasn't happened yet. But what hypothetically speaking, what happens when somebody does something bad? I guess we're all Westerners on the call. So supposing we get this, I don't know, terrorist organization who decide to do something bad, and then they get one of them, and it turns out that this person has got a cryptocurrency, but a privacy currency, and that's how they funded. I'm doing the bunny rabbit ears now. That's how they funded this terrible operation. Do you worry about? It's a stretch to say it, but I guess this argument will be put forward. Do you worry about your role within enabling the darker side of what can be done with privacy to still be done? Do you worry about that at all?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. No, yeah, no, not at all. There, you can't I think in those spaces, in those private spaces, right? Like I was talking about earlier, I always relate privacy to kind of an allowance of expression. Now that's a full yin yang of expression, right? The good and the bad. There will be bad and there will be good, beautiful things. I'm of the feeling that people should be allowed the choice and freedom to operate and live and express themselves. And as a society, as we grow, to kind of creating avenues for roads of expression. I'm sure there will be some wrong turns here or there, but I'm an optimist. I believe in the good nature of humanity and human beings. So I'm not willing to throw, I guess, my idealism away because of the actions of one bad person. I think crypto as a whole is a revolutionary technology that can kind of, rather than tear us apart, bring us closer together. So that's where I stand on that, you know. I think it's a narrative that a lot of governments and corporations try to push, that privacy is bad because it suits them, right? Like we were talking earlier, our personal data is a resource that they want to mine and sell. So when we start to realize that and say, no, you guys can't have this, right? This is important to us. You know, these private spaces are important to us and us understanding who we are, you know, free from someone trying to sell us something or, you know, breathe down our backs. Once we start taking ownership for private spaces, I think it's a little bit of a threat. So to these organizations. So I don't know. I see it as a privacy overall as a good thing, and I don't know. One bad apple spoils the bunch.
I know it's quite a difficult question and quite an emotive question, especially for people who work within privacy coins. So I'm going to give all three of you the opportunity to answer it. I think it would be bad of me if I didn't. Rhubarb, what would you like to say on that sort of that narrative, which to be honest with you, I don't think has been pushed as hard as it will be in the near future as privacy becomes, or user data protection becomes more popular. I'm quite certain soon we're going to have really this real fight against people having their privacy. But what's your thoughts on allowing actual bad things to happen?
Well, I don't think we have to allow it. I mean, there's always laws and things that can clamp down on stuff, and though it's hard and difficult and sometimes impossible to maybe trace these coins, that said, you know, a currency is amoral. There's no like good or bad about a dollar bill. It does what it does, and it's the user that's the issue. So you can't stop. I mean, regular fiat is private. It's private. If you hand $1 to somebody, there's no record, and so I think it's a case of where we just have to be like, it's an amoral, scenario, and people will do bad things with good products and good energy and good whatever, and they'll make it bad. But there's no, I don't think there's any responsibility when it comes to, us privacy coin projects regulating or clamping down or coming up with some kind of like, law enforcement or whatever. I think, as a project and as code, it's open source. Regulatory and other super geeks can always do their thing to try and track down bad actors. But it's an amoral situation. It's a coin. You use it, abuse it, and that's no responsibility on the code. The code doesn't care. So I think it's a moot argument as far as I'm concerned. It's like you're going to have, I mean, the internet was started with such, fanfare and glory. It's going to save the world and it's going to be awesome. And all of a sudden, some bad stuff started happening. Did they pull the plug? No, So
no.
The indictment. I was just going to say the indictment seems like it would be more on like humanity than it would be on the tool.
Yeah.
Okay. Helix. Last but not least, would you like to chime in on that discussion?
Yeah, sure. In what I like on this discussion is some comparison to, let's say, real world examples. So imagine go 1,000 or 2,000 years back in time. There was somebody who invented the knife. And then later in time, there come a company up which produces knives for the kitchen, for hunters, for whatever. So you can do bad things with a knife, but most of us use them the good way. So, and I think it's an interesting comparison to see it in such a way. You can use a private currency for bad things, of course, but most of us, or the biggest usage, will be just pay with it or just use it to store your private value or whatever.
Mhm. Awesome. Okay. The next thing, I guess, which is another almost philosophical discussion about proof of stake. Really, it does have its detractors in terms of securing the network. Some people would argue that proof of work is more secure. Some people say that the differences are small. Are there any plans? I know I did ask you for your plans earlier, but are there any plans to move to a slightly less open, delegated style, like what Cosmos, Cardano, or Polkadot use, when it comes to your proof of stake? Something that I guess is deemed faster. I'm doing the bunny rabbit's ears again, but a little bit less decentralized. Are there any plans to move over to those sorts of consensus methods?
I'm not aware that there were any such discussion in the last time. So
Good.
I think not.
Okay, good. Right.
I think there are more improvements to do for pure functionality. So I think actually integration is what we need to do, or what we've done the last month, so that you can use it, that you can pay with it on whatever. The website can integrate Alias as a payment method, and that's what we need to improve.
Yes.
Integration. Yes.
That actually leads me on nicely to my next question, which was about the Stake Cube listing, which Rhubarb did mention earlier. Rhubarb, you did also mention about the Polarity, which is, I guess, it's upcoming.
Mhm.
How do these partnerships come about, and what does in particular the Stake Cube, what does it mean for Alias users to be integrated into Stake Cube? What differences does it allow Alias users to participate?
I think in general, any exchange is a platform, and it's an exposure opportunity. When you're placed in a big bucket with a whole bunch of other projects, those projects, if you could think of them as like people or heads with eyes, they're looking around the bucket, they're going, oh, this is what's this Alias? And as a collective, it just draws more attention to you than if you were just kind of sitting there doing your thing. And you might be an awesome project, but you're not part of any kind of collective community. And so StakeCube came about actually through relationships with the developer, who's was has been part of many projects, and so we know him, and we approached him, and he was like, "Yep, let's do this." And actually, Alias community completely killed the competition, the February pool. So we did well. So I think so. There's a marketing, there's an exposure element. Obviously,
sorry, Rob.
Yeah.
Could you
go ahead?
Explain what you mean by the pool? What is the pool, and what's the competition?
Yeah, so they for their listing, you have to win a certain level of votes, which you can only vote once a day, or I think that's how it was, and you had to get a certain level of votes within the month to win, and then you were listed. So it was a competition between probably like 20 or so coins that month. And we started off at the bottom of the pack and just rocked it by the end of it. Yeah, and it was beautiful. It was great. So, so again, exposure alone on the exchange, but also it brings a lot of energy to the project when there's this kind of this target, activity. But then there's the practical side. To be able to exchange Alias not only through Bitcoin, but USDT and other trade pairs, are opportunities to increase the the liquidity of the coin. And we love it, and I actually love these up and coming exchanges that aren't your big colossal behemoths, right? That are charging 10 Bitcoin to get listed.
Yeah.
Maybe another feature on StakeCube, which might be a little bit controversial to our privacy goal, is the staking pool as such. Because that is interesting for people who want to stake their coins, but let's say they have no internet connection 24/7, and then you can take some kind of a staking or be part of some kind of a staking pool at StakeCube, and put your buckets or coins onto this pool and let them stake. It's of course difficult to compare with privacy, because normally you say you only put coins onto an exchange if you want to trade them, because if the exchange gets hacked, everybody know what happens. But okay, StakeCube is the idea of it is to stake for their customers, and if somebody wants to use it, yeah, go for it.
Well, it was something that Tittorelli mentioned just a while ago, where he said that the thing with Alias is that you get a choice, right? So you can either be private or you don't have to be private. Do you feel like the stake pool is kind of a stopgap or a halfway house until you get delegated staking actually native to the chain? Do you think that the stake pool is kind of something that people would use in absence of being able to delegate their stake and effectively get the same rewards? Helix.
I think you can't get the same rewards by default, because the pool is always divided through all the members of the pool. The reward is divided onto all the members of the pool. But I think you need to check, or you need to widen what's better for your setup. If you have a powerful internet connection and if you don't worry about network traffic and such, you don't need to use StakeCube. You can stake on your mobile phone, for instance. But if that's not possible, you need another approach or another way to go to earn something, and then StakeCube comes in.
Yeah. Okay. Chad, again, it does seem like there's a lot of development going into the project. When you first told me about the project and you said, the development's great, you need to check it out. And I did sleep on it. I won't lie. I'll be honest. I slept on it for a good couple of weeks, probably a month or so. But then when I did actually look into it, guys are actually doing some pretty good things. And now there's a new surge in marketing and things are becoming more active, like yourself and Tittorelli's making these videos, which I really do enjoy. The main drawback, I know I'm like fanboy over here. So the main drawback is the liquidity, right? So how do you plan on tackling the issues that small projects do have with liquidity? Is it something that you plan on tackling directly, or are you going to let organic growth do its thing?
I think at this point, organic growth is the go-to. At the same time, like Helix was saying, our focus is integration and usability, and so we're really pushing hard to find merchants, and we're on the crypto checkout app. We're trying to get this thing to be used. Like, we don't want this just to be a trading coin and to be liquid on the exchanges. We want it to be liquid from buying a soda or chips or something. So that's kind of right now we're really building the momentum around integration. And the exchange being listed on a couple more exchanges is still part of the plan, but we're not so pushing forward on like, okay, are we gonna create some sort of like market making plan? Are we gonna pumping and dumping and trying to figure out ways to increase? At this time, there are a few that are doing that, and they kind of enjoy that. But really, we're focused on developing the community, getting more exposure, and figuring out how we can get it integrated. and grassroots, because it's not a big budget project. So we're doing all we can to get the community going. We're starting some work with some local ambassadors. So translation is a big thing. So Helix is part of that with the translating the wallet. I think we're up to 5 languages fully translated. Our goal is like 70 or something. We're starting to translate some of the marketing material. Ambassadors and accessibility around the globe is part of the focus as well.
Awesome. I've got only a few more questions, but Tittorelli, I wanted to discuss some of the work you've been doing for the project, and it does seem like you're becoming the face, if you will, of Alias, as you're the front man on the videos.
I always thought of
how
myself
did
more
that?
as the body.
Yeah, the body.
Yeah. But I'll take
Guns,
it.
guns are out. Guns are out.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, now this is where everybody looks to try and see if there's a video version, and there's not a video version, unfortunately. So you're just going to have to take Tittorelli's word for it,
Yeah.
or go to YouTube, yes, and watch the video.
Links below. Links below.
I'll post the link. Fair enough. How did it actually come about with you becoming the body of Alias, and also what's been I'd say the most challenging? What's been the most challenging part of your work with Alias during the time you've been there?
So going back to what I initially said, what originally drove me to crypto was kind of the same thing that draws a lot of people to crypto. I think speculation and greed, right? I wanted to get money. I wanted to get rich real quick because I had some friends who found success investing in Ethereum. So I started researching projects, and I found at the time SpectreCoin, and I fell in love with the potential of cryptocurrencies just as a whole. This idea of financial freedom and really just kind of made an impact on me. So I joined the community and I started making memes, really dumb memes. Some of them, looking back, still hard hitters. But I started making these memes for the community, just being as supportive as could, chipping in a very, I guess, grassroots kind of way. And I was chiming in on conversations, just getting it involved in the community, and that sprung into where I was making relationships with team members, and I have a background making video, so I started making little videos for them. Those memes turned into videos, and next thing you know, bing bang a boom, I'm this guy talking to this guy.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but it's been a process of just kind of, I don't know, just finding a kinship with a product that I really respond to, and finding a kinship with the community.
Has it all been plain sailing, or have you run into any difficult times?
Oh, the most difficult, yeah, for sure, man. Because you always have, like, for me, I got in on the project back in early 2017, and so I've seen my fair share of the typical people like, why isn't this pumping right now?
Yeah.
Like, I just invested. Why isn't this doubling? Developers, what you doing? And it makes you, when you have an overarching kind of historical view, when you have connections with the community, when you have bonds with people who are working hard, putting in blood, sweat, and tears to get the project off the ground, and you have some bozos coming in there who are pissed you're not, pumping their pockets. It can get you, you want to shake them through the computer, but so that's kind of challenging at times, dealing with trolls and trying to realize, it's not a sprint, it's a long jog, a slow, quaint walk to the finish line. I mean, if you look back in the day, think about it. If you look back, think Bitcoin was originally used to buy magic cards. Who would think this currency that was used to buy and trade magic cards would be threatening big banking institutions today? It's crazy. So there's so much that goes into these things. It's hard to predict what will happen, but I'm happy to be along for the ride, and I'm excited to see where things are developing and going with Alias.
Well, I'm glad you said that. Predictions, because it's that time of the podcast. I like to ask my guests just before they leave one particular question, and the question is this. I'm going to go with you first, Tittorelli, as you've led the way. And the question is, if you had to go all in on a project, which means if you had to put every last penny you had or every last Satoshi you had into a project, which would it be and why? The stipulations are obviously you cannot choose Alias, and you also cannot choose Bitcoin because everybody chooses Bitcoin. So which project would it be and why?
Bitcoin Cash. Just kidding. I would do. I believe in the Internet of Things. I think that's going to be a thing in the future. Will IOTA be that currency that all these micro transactions and all our appliances operate on? Maybe, maybe not. So I like IOTA just as a potential, But I look at the governance and stuff, and it raises some questions. But I'm going to say I like IOTA, so I like IOTA, and then I'm going to choose a second one. So I'm torn between these two. I'm going to choose as my second choice Monero, because I think
knew you would say that.
Because I think in crypto, trust is super important, because this is such a new field advances are coming and stuff. And as Monero has that first mover advantage, Monero has that trust. What Monero doesn't have, unfortunately, is a really energy efficient protocol. It's a proof of work system. So I don't know how, in the future, as energy consumption becomes more of an issue, and I don't know how well it'll hold up, but I'm going to say Monero.
Okay. It seems
for its trust and solid proven privacy.
It seems like privacy guys always like Monero. People from all privacy projects around the world seem to like Monero, even if they're involved or work with a different privacy project. There was another question I was going to ask as you was talking. Yeah, that was what it was. Just on the side note, which project do you see as the main competition for Alias at the moment, if there is any? Which projects would you see as the main competition for Alias? This is for you again, Tittorelli.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I would say Monero, and that's because they're kind of built on a similar privacy structure. You could. They each use ring signatures, each use stealth addresses. They have different pros and cons. So the similarities make them good enemies. The big major differences being that Monero is proof of work and Alias is proof of stake. Privacy differences would be Alias has integrated Tor, which protects your IP address. Monero does not have that natively integrated Tor, but they have crypto note, which I think blocks your balance, the amount which currently Alias does not. So there's slight little differences, which it's arguable, which is better. It's kind of like a witch's brew, which one suits you. But I would say
I've spent many hours having those sorts of arguments on Reddit with people over which privacy is the best.
They go round and round. There really is. Yeah. There's so much. If you look into privacy coins and stuff, there's so much hype and just trickery. And I don't know, little things because it's all about privacy. It's all about how the coin's privacy features work in concert versus one privacy feature. So there's not one privacy feature that rules them all. It's how a coin's features work in concert that really give it its anonymity.
at some point it kind of just becomes Coke versus Pepsi, doesn't it? It becomes what your flavor is on that particular day. Rhubarbarian, on to you. If you had to, I believe I've asked you this on a previous podcast I had you on, but I'm quite sure you chose Bitcoin as well, so you can't choose that again this time.
I don't think I chose anything. I think I said I'm not sure because I'm more on the sidelines when it comes to like the tech, and so. But at that said, I can tell you that I'm curious about Cardano. I think Cardano is very, even though it would be pseudo new, I think it's a very mature project as it relates to maybe other proof of stake coins. The way they're pushing towards, aspect of science and integration, smart contracts. So I'm intrigued by. I don't know if I'd be like, okay, that's my vote. So that's one thing. I am partial. I'm partial to projects that I invest in, but I love privacy. I like proof of stake, but I also love practical use projects. So if I can put a plug in for Vendable, that would be cool. I think it's a hidden project right now, but integration with merchants and financial system, and AdBank, which is a local company just next door to us that's tackling advertising fraud and helping advertisers get their promo out without getting sidetracked by robots. So I like those practical systems. But if it was pure coin, pure project, I think right now at the moment I'm looking at Cardano.
Okay. Oh, good. Do you know what? I thought you was going to sit on the fence and give me the politician's answer and not actually, come. So okay,
I took a step. I took a step.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, on a side note, AdBank has been doing amazingly well recently. Yeah, which has been quite interesting. Right. Okay. And finally, Helix. Yes. If you had to go all in on a project, which would it be and why?
Actually, I don't know why I should say something different because Tittorelli said exactly the same that I would say. I have also IOTA on my list of interest because I like the idea, and as I'm a little bit on the Internet of Things field, working with the company and its stuff in the background, I think that they have a pretty interesting idea, and if they find a way to solve the issues, as usual, as everybody has its own issues, then I would like to invest or to go for or with IOTA. That's interesting for me. And as you asked for opponent, I think the one is actually Particle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they follow a similar idea. It's a huge project, of course, but I think Particle is also, friend and enemy at the same.
Yes. Okay, I haven't actually heard much about Particle in recent times, so I guess I'll ask you about them. Did they manage to get their marketplace? Because I remember they were building a marketplace, a private marketplace. Did they manage to get that done? And are they allowing other coins on their marketplace, or how is that going for them?
Oh, that's a good question. I just compared the feature and have a quick look at the white paper and what they do, but I'm not actually following what Particle does at the moment. I can't say, sorry.
Yeah, I'm not too sure either. Okay then, right. Chad, I'll give you the honors of signing us out. Where can people go to find out more about Alias and get involved?
Yeah, simply alias.cash is the website, and everything's on there. You can read all about Alias blogs, posts, white papers, download wallets, catch our exchanges. So I think that's probably a good one-stop. We're all over socials, so follow us. Our YouTube channel just launched a little while back, so we're slowly building the catalog. So if you want to become a fanboy like Cryptosi of Jason, then you can follow us on on YouTube. So that's probably those are the probably the portals to get connected. And then join us on Discord. It's a great community. It's a growing community, and yeah, we'd love to chat with new people, new ideas. Come and join us.
Yes, I'll make sure I link to all of these things in the description. So
thanks. I'll send you a link.
Awesome. Right, okay. Helix, thank you very much for your time. The same to you, Rhubarbarian, and also to you, Tittorelli. You gentlemen have been amazing. So it's been a really good and informative podcast. Hopefully people can really find out more about Alias and actually go and dig in and watch the YouTube videos and jump into the Discord and get to know you guys and I guess gals, whoever's in the community.
Mm-hmm.
Before you go, is there anything else you wanted to add? Is there anything that I've missed out you wanted to add or say before you went?
Fine for
anything
me.
Alias has probably done some research. Alias is, if you're going total package, not just one weird feature, Alias is for sure one of the most private proof of stake coins out there. So give it a look.
Boom.
Okay, it's not on. It may not be hyped right now, but it's underground. The development's going steady. Things are blooming. The flowers are blossoming. So come smell them.
Yes. Awesome. Right. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very, very much. And to all of the people who have been listening, congratulations. Well, I guess it's been quite easy to get to the end of these guys. So well done for getting to the end. Please like and subscribe and share. Let other people find out about these types of projects. Because for me, anyway, the reason why I do these podcasts is because projects like these are probably the most important ones within crypto. The projects that are actually doing things. It's not just where we've got a partnership with I don't know, Johnny what's his face, or we've got a partnership with this big company. It's actual development going on and actual things being built. So thank you, Alias, for your work in the space, because it's very important for us all that you guys do this. Yeah. And we'll hopefully have you on again soon and find out how things have been going. So thank you and good evening.
Good evening. Thanks,
you.
Cryptosi.
Bye-bye.
Peace out.
Yeah.
Peace out.
See ya.